Well, as you know, I custom bent these rockers for my 8-passenger Yellowstone and the 11-passenger as well. And I got the right side fitted on both of them, and I have the left sides shaped out as well. But I kind of ran into a roadblock and I can't put them on. You can see I've got these bodies set up on my sawhorses, and in order to get these rocker irons on and the rockers themselves, I had to shift this set of sawhorses off to the side so that they didn't interfere. But now I want to put the left side on, and the sawhorses are in the way. So I do have some dollies that I have made up for past projects. I just need to build some kind of a stand so I can set these bodies on these dollies. Then I can get the sawhorses out from underneath, and it'll make these bodies more mobile as well. So the width of my floorboards on this 11-passenger is 35 inches. So I need to come in a little bit. Maybe I'll shoot for 34 inches. That way the sides will be open enough for those rocker irons. And the width of my dolly for this 11 is 36, so I should be able to fit it right inside there. This one is a little longer than my 8. And the width of the floor on the 8-passenger is 34 inches. And this shorter dolly that I have, it's actually about 42 inches. But in between, see, I've got 32 inches, so I should be able to fit my framework just on the inside of the frame of this dolly. So when they're on sawhorses, being immovable is kind of an inconvenience. I need them more movable than they are, because eventually I'm going to have to roll them back into the paint room. So in order for me to proceed with the rockers, I have to do it. You know, when I do my steam bending like this, I oftentimes get a comment, well, I find that kind of stuff all the time at the big box stores. Well, that's kind of what I have here. I have 3 2x4s that I have taped together because they're so twisted, it might just pop here. I was trying to hold them together, thinking maybe they would counteract each other and maybe straighten out. But these twisted pre-bent 2x4s are good candidates for to get cut up into short pieces where it doesn't really matter if they aren't straight. And these two here aren't super bad. This is the one that almost could have been a rocker by itself. So I was trying to use 2 straight ones to pull this one into straight, but it didn't work. So it becomes a framework to set my Yellowstone coaches on. So in order to get these off of my sawhorses, I think I'll build my stand maybe an inch taller than where it sits right now. I'm at 22.5. Maybe I should put a 24-inch stand under that. Check my 11. I'm at 23 inches, so I think I'll put a 24-inch stand under both of them. Well, this is one of the disadvantages of using good old box store twisted lumber, but it's going to work for what I want it to do. Well, my frame that it's going to sit on the coach is 33 inches, and in here across I'm 32, so I only have a ½ inch catch in there. I'm going to shim this out just a bit so I have a little more of a comfort level. That gives me a lot more room to spare. Well, now, if I was really good with my camera, which I'm not, I could just go and they'd be underneath. I guess I'm going to have to learn those camera tricks. So now I got to figure out how to get them underneath there. Well, like I said, camera magic, just like that. Nice thing about this now is I'm going to be able to turn them around and put the other side to the light. Before I was kind of having to work on the back side, and that was on the dark side. So now when I want to put these other rockers on, I can actually maybe see what I'm doing. Things don't fall apart on me. And maybe I can do the same to this. That'll help me see what I'm doing. Now I can do the left sides. So I've been kind of playing with this whole assembly on the rear corner of this coach that ties into the rocker. And the placement of this rocker actually hovers around this iron here. These irons are already pre-drilled since they came off an original coach, but this little bend here has to fit tight up against this shoulder as well. Once that is fitted, then I can take these other irons that already have the holes drilled in them and fit them to that heavy iron. So these 3 holes here correlate to those 3 holes. And then in this outside iron that kind of sandwiches this whole joint work, it has these 3 holes also. And these all have to line up with each other. But it all hinges around this iron here. So the curve is a little different from the old original coach to what I have. So I'm touching up here and I'm touching down here. I need to reconfigure this. In order to do that, what I need to do is increase the curve here so that I can allow this to drop down and see how close I am. I may also increase the curve here so that take off the contact here and here and make the contact start here. And then I can relax it down and make it fit that curve both directions. So that worked really well. You can see I'm down here really close. I'm touching here, I'm touching here. I'm actually touching clear up to about this point here. I am probably 1/2 to 5/8 of an inch off, so I just have to relax that back down. This fits well, this fits well. Somewhere behind this framework, this has to drop because I'm up about 1/4 of an inch here. I have nice contact there, but I need to adjust that. But the whole goal was to get that to fit, and that worked just right. So it's almost impossible to show this on camera and get my head in there as well. But we have contact here till about right here. So where I leave the contact, that's where I want to relax it. And then when it comes down and has contact and then it leaves contact, that's where I'll relax it. So this down here, I have contact to right at this point. So this is where I'm going to relax that down and get that to touch. So I'll do it step by step. It's really going to help me if I can get this rear seat frame out of the way. And I can actually get my head in here a little better to see where I need to make those adjustments. That gained a lot. A little tough to see, but sometimes when you try to see if it rocks, it does. The rocking point seems to be right here, so I need to do that. And then up on this end, not very much, but the rocking point seems to be right here. Not much on either one. I'm only maybe a 1/16 inch up on each end. I'd say we're right there. So these two holes here correlate with the mount that's underneath that the rocker bolts to. So the placement of this, we can see in relation to this framework here, has to be right in this area. And so looking on the outside, it would be kind of in this position here. So what I need to do is check my position of this iron here. This hole here actually needs to be in this position right there. So I would have had it too far forward where it was. So now these correlate. So then on this back iron that sandwiches the outside, this hole is going to have to correlate with this position here. And it goes in between this iron and the framework. So this hole here needs to be right about there. I'm going to have to move this wood rocker so that I can see if my holes line up this direction. I'm going to try to hold that in place. So the inside irons of these mounts here are 1/4 by 2.5. This is 1/4 by 3. And you can see how much it sticks out past this framework. Well, that's to allow for this 3/8 body panel that comes down. Then it'll end up being closer to flush to the body when that panel is installed. This might be one of those impossible shots, but this iron here needs to come forward about 1/8 of an inch. Hard for me to see it as well. I'd say we're really close right there. So I had been putting this iron for the rocker right tight up against the frame, but when I align these holes right there, it actually brings this out about 1/4 of an inch. So that hole alignment helps us as well, because this 1/4 by 3 is up tight, but this frame is not. And it's interesting to see this pencil mark right here. This pencil mark actually was in correlation to the rivet that goes through my side frame for my floor, but it actually lines right up with this as well, so that'll show me where the end of this outside 1/4x3 needs to be right there. These are drilled for 3/8 bolt. So I have a 3/8 bolt there to double check that I'm aligned. Make sure I'm through both layers of iron, which I am. So everything lines up right there. So getting holes to line up is always a challenge, but there's one bolt that goes right through this curve, and it should come up right there. So you can see they line up. The next hole is there. The next hole is there. So they all seem to be in position this direction where they should be. And the next hole up on this heavy iron is right here. And right there on the outside iron. And next one is right there. So you seem to be right there in the ballpark. So I think you can see this outside iron here can't get installed until the back panel is in place, because it has to go underneath. Some of these holes I may pre-drill, but I won't bolt them until I put this panel in, and then when I have everything positioned, it's just a matter of opening up that panel where the holes need to be if they're already pre-fitted. Now some of these I may be able to pre-drill as well, perhaps all of these, but I'm not going to install any of them permanently yet. This iron has to come off, so this back panel has to come out more flush with this iron, and this side body panel has to come out, and it's going to be flush with the iron here. Then it steps out because this rear body panel comes out past the side body panel, so that the end grain shows this direction, but then there's a trim that covers all that. The biggest part about this is just making sure everything is positioned here. Then I can go forward and find out for sure where that front rocker mount needs to be as well. But it all starts here. So in the comment section, there's always those questions that surface: how did they do it then? My speculation is none of these holes were drilled, so they could just fit it all and then drill it. But we're kind of doing the reverse engineering and trying to incorporate already existing holes. So when I'm doing that 8-passenger with all new irons, it's probably going to be closer to how they would have done it initially. Fit all the irons, get it in position. I will use the old wood to find out what those positions are as close as I can, and then line the holes up and drill them. That's my guess. Anyway, this is a process. I know it's kind of a tedious process, but trying to re-engineer where all this stuff goes. Appreciate you coming along. Thanks for watching.